There's marketing typically, and I talk to a lot of CMOs that feel like they don't have a seat at the table, imposter syndrome, feel like they're as good as their last lead, feel like they're looked upon as the biggest cost center, one of the biggest cost centers in the business with paid media and everything. What you're talking about here is really stepping up. And we all have been trained, we have to be more revenue focused. If we don't even say those words, we're already 10 years behind the game. We know we need to be more pipeline, more revenue focused. We need to be building relationships earlier. We know the sales team isn't going to do that. They're going to play their role. But how do we get involved earlier? How do we add additional value to the equation? And you had talked about understanding the customer, a deep understanding of the customer. And you did it. And so eloquently, you did it in a way because we all go, yeah, duh, we got to do that. Right? We got to provide value. We got to build trust. We got to know the customer. They can be just words that we say, and then they just kind of wash away because we've just heard them so much. But here's the underpinning behind what you were saying. Because I want to put what you're about ready to say in framework. It was Forrester in 2024 came out with a customer obsession study. And they found that less than 3% of B2B companies were truly customer obsessed. Less than 3%. Yet there's 100% of us that would say, yeah, we're customer obsessed. We're customer first. Of course we are, right? When you're talking about the voice of the customer, that puts it in perspective. There is a massive opportunity. There is a massive competitive advantage to be had, to be seen as a customer obsessed organization and use that as a competitive advantage for us. What does it mean to you to be customer obsessed? Understand the voice of the customer.
It's a great question. And one of the things I always talk to my team about is our number one job is to be experts on the market, to understand who buys, what problems they have, why they buy, both what's the benefits to the company and to them personally, what are their hopes and dreams and challenges, and then ultimately communicate them in a way that resonates and tells them we're the best choice to help move them forward. Like really starting with that audience and understanding them and talking to them in their language. For us, like a big focus is verticalization, that part of being relevant and part of resonating and having that emotive connection is I'm using your words. Like our story matches your story, investing the time and effort in being able to do that. We see when we do that, more pipeline and higher win rates than if we just kind of had generic kind of problem solution stuff. It's hard to do. AI makes it much, much easier now to do and scale. It makes a huge difference if you can accomplish that. The thing that's interesting about it, I'll just add this, tends to be a reductive exercise. When the day you say, I need to stop being everything to everybody, and I need to be very specific things to a few people, it changes everything.
And then all of a sudden, you're not trying to carry that heavy weight across an entire TAM. And that's the goal of ABM anyways. It's like this is the sweet spot. This is where we're going after. Something you just said there about that AI really helps a lot on this. But you've got to be AI is like a lot of other tools in that if it's garbage in, it's garbage out. Right now, everybody has, if you just put in your ICP, the persona and everything, it's going to spit out, it's going to look and it's going to say, okay, I would reword it this way. Everybody has that. So all your competitors have that as well. What they don't have is if you dedicate to understanding the customer, then you're dedicating really in this day and age, you're dedicating time with them. You're dedicating asking questions and you're dedicating listening. If you can take that, had this brilliant conversation with a CEO. Gentleman was for 17 years at Accenture. And he said, Steve, there's structured and there's unstructured data you want inside of AI. He said, structured, that's the CRM, Excel sheets, that's your output from your NPS survey, all the structured data. The rest of it is all the unstructured data, right? Gong recordings, unstructured data. Podcast recordings like this, unstructured data. And that unstructured data is very underrepresented because we tend to feel like we got more data coming out our ears we ever had before. Right? But if you're going to do the kind of things that you said that have impact on the pipeline and revenue about speaking in the voice of the customer so that they feel like you actually get it, That means you understand them, not just the right choices of words, but you're understanding the right elements. I'm just seeing, am I taking this away correctly that like what you're saying?
I think if you take it to its end state, you think about this idea of a synthetic persona. And we've tested this where we went out and found buyers, either existing customers or customers of our competitors or potential buyers, looked in their LinkedIn profiles, basically said, access all public information about these people, bring in the gong conversations, bring in all the data that we have, and basically create this idea of the synthetic persona. It's basically a live focus group. So now I can test messaging, I can test ads, I can do a lot of stuff with that. But if it's deep, what are the trigger events? What words should you avoid? What words should you use? All the psychographic stuff. Like once you have that, which was almost impossible to do 5 years ago, now it's like things like survey panels and focus groups and stuff become obsolete because you've got much better real time dynamic data that serves that purpose for you.
Yeah, and what it I guess in the end, the way I think about it, like what you're saying is it allows us to speak like an insider.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.